How many spots do I have over here? I've got 16 spots. 4, 4, 4. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Oh, they're already done. That was super quick. Wait, what are these? These are red potatoes. I thought these were gonna be purple potatoes. Fold this dough. It's looking good. Let me come closer to you. We can read it together. Good morning. I am working on the last 15 pounds of tomatoes from last year's garden. I'm also planning on starting this year's tomatoes today, so that's really exciting. I'm going to add just a little bit of water into this roaster pan just because I don't want these tomatoes to burn. They're completely frozen in this 2-gallon bag, and I'm very excited. I'm a little bit late to getting the garden started, same as last year, but you know, better late than never. I have found if I start things early or on time that I have trouble keeping them alive. Before I put these in the freezer, I washed them and I took the cores out, and so we still have peels, so I will have to run them through a food mill. But these are ready to go. And now I also want to feed my sourdough. It's really early in the morning. I wanted to make sure to get this done early because I'm going to try to do a full loaf in one day. Well, I shouldn't say a full loaf, but a loaf in one day. So normally sourdough is like a 3-day thing for me because I feed it on one night, and then the next night or next day I make the bread, shape it, do all that throughout the day, then I put it in the fridge overnight. I'm gonna try to do everything in one day. We'll see how that works. But that means I need to feed it, and it's almost 9 o'clock. So we need to definitely get going on that. I'm going to tear this, and I have 56 grams of starter in there. So I'm going to add 56 grams of warm-ish water, but not hot. What did I say, 56? That's 54. We're gonna go with 54. 54 sounds great. Let's mix these two together. This sourdough, I started it in February of 2023, so we're a little older than a year. Also, welcome back. Thank you for being here. I'm Carrie. This is Keep It Simple DIY. Today, I plan to make this loaf of bread. I'm still in a pantry challenge, and so what I'm going to do is use up some salsa. So one day when I wanted to use up my onion jam, I just threw it in the bread and it went fantastically. I'm gonna try to throw in some curry salsa into this bread. It's gonna be an experiment. We'll see if we like it. It could be a complete disaster. That's what I said with the onion jam bread, and it turned out really good. So we'll see. I also plan on starting my seeds today, and then of course canning up the tomato sauce from last year. So it is just a day to do all the things. So let's get some flour in here. Try to not be overzealous with it. 42. And 57. Close enough. Give this a mix. And then my trick for getting things to rise a little bit faster is to stick them in the microwave with a cup of hot water. So what I'm going to do is boil some water. I'm going to set that in the microwave. I'm not turning the microwave on. They're just gonna both be in there in that enclosed environment, and that gets things to rise a little quicker. I don't have any other warm environments today because it's very gloomy. I've been giving these a stir every so often. The first time I actually waited a little too long to do it though, and some of the edges browned a little bit. I did make sure to add a little bit more water, and now we are in good shape. Here's how I've got the sourdough starter. Don't mind the kind of messy microwave, but I've got it in here. There's some hot water next to it. It's not on, that's just sitting there. And over here, I am getting ready to plant my seeds. So I brought up my little greenhouse type of thing. I haven't plugged it in or gotten a rug under it or anything like that yet. But over here, I got out a tray. I've only planned out what vegetables I'm going to start this year, but I've got these all out. I've got a bucket of water, or bowl of water, because I got these things. I've never tried these things before. We're gonna try them today for the first time. They say you throw them in water. So we'll try it. Here's what I'm going to plant. So I used my guide that I have. So I made this just in Excel and color coded what I can start when. Let me put it down and show you. And so looking at this, I could start quite a few things inside, and I had to go through and decide what I wanted to start inside and what I wanted to start outside. And so I've decided today I'm going to start some jalapeno peppers and serrano peppers, some celery. Oh my gosh. That is the cat in the box that the Vermont compost came in. I am going to start some tomatillos. I have a purple and a green variety. I'm going to start cherry tomatoes, and I'm going to start, I don't see where they went. I'm going to start Roma tomatoes, but I have to find them. Oh, I think I found them. There they are. Time to make a label for them. I'm also going to start some pumpkins and then 4 different types of onions. We have shallots, yellow sweet Spanish, Texas grano, and Tokyo long onions. So I don't know if I have enough room for all of that in that tray, but we will just get started and see where we end up. Ideally, I would be doing all of this outside, but it is raining, which is interesting. It does not rain a whole lot over here. And we've actually had a decent amount this year, which is great. We are always in like a perpetual drought, it seems. So let me write down Roma tomatoes on this one. Hi, Milo. And let's see how this thing goes. So I need to figure out how much I want to do actually. So I'm gonna do 2 jalapenos, I'm gonna do 2 serranos. How many spots do I have over here? I've got 16 spots. 4, 4, 4. We're gonna do at least 16 things. So let's throw these into the water and see what happens. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. I don't know how long it's gonna take, so we'll leave those there. Put this to the side. This is some risky business, having all of the seeds out next to water. Oh, they're already done. That was super quick. Whoa. Well, that's cool. If you were around a few weeks ago, I just deep cleaned my kitchen, and then I made a bunch of sourdough bread, and now I'm playing with dirt, so we're doing well. Let's see, I'm using Vermont compost for the first time. I know that Flower Hill Farm recommends it, Becky on Acre Homestead recommends it, so I'm trying it. I'm just going to put some into these sections and then add water because I don't have like an outside bucket that doesn't have holes in the bottom of it. Here comes Milo. He's like, what are we doing? Whoops. What are we doing, Milo? What do you think about that? Ooh, this feels very nice. It was very expensive. It was like 40 bucks for that bag. So very, very, very expensive. But this is probably the best feeling soil I've ever touched. Or it's compost, potting soil. Hi, Milo. Yeah, it's okay for you to be up here since we're not cooking. Let me grab some water and moisten these. What do you think of that, Mr. Willows? Is this cool? Oh, you don't need to set in with the seeds. Okay, I'm going to let those sit for a while, then we'll do the other ones. And I might remove the kitten. Whoop. So I'm thinking with these, I'm going to start them in these little pods, and then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get a seed into them. I might need a toothpick. And then after they've been in the pods for a while, I will add Vermont compost to them. These are a little warm. How was that warm? I guess I used warm water. That was not on purpose. Oh, it opens really easily. Okay, that was easy enough. I'm just wondering if I think I can fit actually a lot of these, like maybe more than one in a spot. Take these pieces off. I've never used these before, so this is new to me. Let's see here. If I do this, interesting. You know, online it said these were smaller than someone expected. These are actually a lot bigger than I expected them to be. Now I'm trying to think, is this quicker and easier than just putting soil in them and starting the seeds that way? Or is this kind of totally pointless? All right, let's see what we want to do here. I think I'm going to start with, what do I want to start with? Peppers. Here's some serrano. I think I'm going to do the serranos here. Put both of these in here. I'm only starting a couple because I pretty much only use these to make bread. So I'm going to put 2. This is interesting. Seeds in this one. 2 seeds in this one. Okay, we'll do the jalapenos here. Maybe I'll start pumpkin. It is my goal this year to get some sugar pie pumpkins. I grew them, 1 year, and I got a ton of them, and it was fantastic. And then I haven't been able to get any since, and I'm not quite sure why. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the sugar pie pumpkin year, because I would love to be able to can it and have canned pumpkin. What I don't know is, how do I keep these moist? Do they keep themselves pretty moist? How often do I need to water them? I guess we'll find out. This is working. I've got cherry tomatoes. Now the cherry tomatoes are my favorite, and last year I was just hoping to get them because I had all of my seeds from previous years kind of stored together and I didn't know what kind of seeds they were. And I got lucky and I got the exact ones that I wanted, which were these. So that was fantastic. Now I just need to plant them again and again and again because they are so delicious. The cherry tomatoes are my favorite for just like eating them with some salt, and that's it. Then I think I'm just gonna do the rest of the front ones, Roma. Now I usually do a bunch of different kinds of tomatoes. This year I'm only doing cherry tomatoes and Roma tomatoes, trying something new. I usually do like a moneymaker and a porter, and I'm just not the biggest fan of them. I also have a pink one that I love how it looks, but it doesn't taste that great, but it's so pretty. So this year I'm only doing a few. I'm hoping to just pare back and get ones that are delicious and just the same. I'm gonna put 2 seeds in each of these. So I have celery, and then I have all the onions, and I have 2 spots open here. So I need to go switch one of these out for one of these, and then maybe I'll just leave one of these empty. Is that what I want to do? If I leave it empty, then I can use it when I'm like, maybe I'll just, I'll think through it as I go grab the other one of these. Did you get a wet nose? All right, I think I'm gonna do the celery in this one. We're gonna do, let's see, Texas run of onions there. So let's see. For the onions, I'm just going to like shake them over here. And then I'll separate them when I put them into the ground. I've never had great luck with onions. I would hope that this would be my year, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I've had that thought a few times before. Ooh, bit many there. Yellow sweet Spanish. And this is the first year I'm trying shallots, so hopefully that goes well. These are ambition shallots, so hopefully they'll be ambitious enough to do something for me. No? And then this is going to be the celery. I did not need that shovel. Okay, I need to cover the tops, get them watered again, and then figure out what I want to do with this. Maybe I just won't do anything with it. I think I'm just going to leave it. Figured out what I want to do. I have some flowers that I'd like to start, so I'm going to put flowers in there. Here are all the flowers. I just went through them to figure out which ones I'm going to start today. I am going to start some straw flowers, some hoary stark, some carnations, and some lupine. And then the rest of these, I'm going to try to just direct sow them. I have them sorted. These 2 over here need to be cold stratified before direct sowing. So I have the Bells of Ireland and the Gay Feather. And then let me run you through the rest of these that I'm going to be planting out at some point. Probably not all of them this year. I do have this moss rose. I'll have to find a picture of it. It was very pretty. That's why it was the one oddball. I just really liked that flower. But there's also the Shasta daisy, the yarrow, lavender, echinacea, zinnia, sunflower, another zinnia, another sunflower, cosmos, black-eyed Susans, baby's breath, amaranth, cosmos, painted daisy, more zinnias, Mexican sunflower, and China aster. My thoughts on these so far: it's almost easier to just use soil to begin with. However, I'm hoping that what these do is, one, reduce bugs a little bit, and two, hopefully they will hold the moisture really well and provide a really good environment for the seeds to germinate and thrive. So we'll see. I cannot find the inside of this one. All right, I think that is all that I'm going to start indoors this year. I usually have a bunch, but I'm going to just go small because I want success, and hopefully if I start small or stay small, it'll be successful. I'm gonna give these all a little bit of a drink. All right, I'm gonna get the humidity dome on these, and then I need to get my greenhouse all set up, so I will do that now. Last thing I think I need to do for garden prep is prep these potatoes. These are the potatoes from last year's garden, and it looks like some of it's growing eyes and some isn't. I'm just going to cut them into smaller pieces, and then I'm going to let them dry out for a bit, which is an improvement on last year. I did not mean to break those eyes off. So I'm just gonna do in half and half. I'm not sure about this one. It doesn't really have eyes, so it might not end up being something that'll work for us. That's actually when I probably should have eaten. Now, what I really want is yellow potatoes. And I don't think I have any here. I think these are all russets, like Idahoan style is what I really want. So I might need to go to the store and get some, or I might just deal with having russets. And I don't think I'm going to be, wait, what are these? These are red potatoes. I thought these were gonna be purple potatoes. Maybe these are the ones that I want. That'd be awesome. I'm going to Google how long I need to leave these and when I should put them in the ground. I can put them in the ground pretty much any time now, but for now, these are going to go on the greenhouse because that's the place that I can get them away from the cats. So here's how the greenhouse is looking. I did get a rug beneath it so that way I don't get water anywhere, and I have an extension cord plugging everything in. I've got the potatoes, and then I've got all of our starts with the lights above them. I don't know which ones need light and which ones don't. So I have light on them just until they germinate, and the humidity dome, and we are in business. And here's how our tomatoes are looking. They are all thawed now, and I'm just going to let them boil away for a bit just to reduce some of that water, and then I will run them through the food mill. I think I'm ready to get going on these. What I'm planning on doing is I've got a bowl to catch all of the seeds and skins, and then I'll run them through again. And then it comes with this little, I don't know, tray to catch the juice, and then I'm gonna pour the juice into this pot, and hopefully this goes well. I haven't done this in so long. It's been over a year because I didn't do it last year because I've got them right here. So I'm just going to slowly put them all in here. And then I will be making sure to follow a recipe that is approved for canning. And I'm not going to put any spices or anything in this sauce because previously I've done like Italian, and then I can only use it for Italian things. So I am just going to do like a plain sauce. It is leaking out everywhere. Let me think this through. Why is it leaking here? Tighten that in. I might need a new one of these this year. Oh my, we're losing it out the back. See, I don't want that to happen. I've just accepted that this is going to be a complete mess. I think this year might be a year to get a new one of these. Round one is done. Now all this pulp has so much liquid in it, so I definitely need to run it through again a few more times. Look at that. There's so much extra liquid coming out. Look at all this, it just came out from round two. Crazy. Not bad for round three. I'm going to get this on the stove and just let it boil away until it gets a lot thicker, and then I'm going to deal with this mess and yikes. It's a little after 1. Here's how our sauce is looking. It is definitely reduced quite a bit. I still am going to let this reduce for just a little bit longer, plus we need to shape our bread. The starter has been rising for 4 hours, and here's how it's looking. So it's not quite doubled in size, but you know, it's pretty darn close. So I'm going to make our bread, but first I want to make sure to save some starter aside because I don't want to accidentally use it all. That would be terrible. Earlier when I was putting it in the microwave, I had to take it out for a minute because I was cooking something, then put it back in. And I was like, good thing I didn't accidentally just press start. That would be really sad. I'm going to save about 50 grams or so, and I'm going to use like 100 grams or whatever's left, which will be somewhere around there in my bread. I usually don't use that much, but I don't want to make more than 1 loaf today. And I figure since I'm trying to do it quick, I should probably do at 60. We'll do 60. Since I'm trying to do it quickly in one day, I think 100 grams will do me a lot better. Let me rinse this off, put a new number on it. This is my favorite trick, wet erase marker. We're gonna put 60 grams. And back in the fridge, this one goes. This is also how I make sure to keep the jars clean. I try to switch it like that every time. And if I can switch it just by pouring it, it doesn't get on the sides at all. So great. Okay, so now I've got all this sourdough starter. I'm going to dump it into this bowl and we'll see how many grams there are. I'm hoping it's just somewhere right around 100 or so. I'm hoping for between 50 and 100. I know there's definitely more than 50. I don't really want it to be like 150 though. And it shouldn't be based on math. I started with 56 and I tripled it. So we should only have like 100. Try to get all of it out of here. Oh yeah, we've got 92 in there. So this is where we're experimenting. I am going to add in this whole jar of whatever's left of the salsa. This might be too much for the loaf, but we're gonna try it anyways, and if it's a disaster, it's a disaster. So I usually add 350 grams of water, so maybe I'll add just like 150, 200, maybe 200. We're going, well, we'll see however much is in here. We'll do 183. Ooh, we've got starter all up in there. So let's see, 183 plus the 2 something there. Okay, we'll call this enough, hopefully. Maybe I'll go a little shy on the flour at first. This is not what I like to mix with. Let me grab my Danish dough whisk. I was thinking that was like unnecessarily complicated. There we go, this is much better. Smells good, that was a curry salsa, so we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking about, do I want to add, I think I'm gonna add a smidge more water. Just like that much. Luckily with sourdough, you can't really go wrong no matter what you use. So I'm gonna try to put 500 grams of flour in here and we'll see where that gets us. Hopefully we'll have a good consistency. We've got 524 grams. I'm kind of thinking, do I want to take some out? I think I do. I'd use my hand, but my hand is wet. There we go, 509, 493, 498. We'll call that good. Oh, I got it on the counter. So all I need to do here is just mix this up, and then we will let it set on the counter to autolyze, and we'll come back to do some stretch and folds a little bit after that. I think I'm gonna give my sauce another half hour or so, and then we'll be ready to jar it up. Thinking I probably should have went with that 525. This looks really good. I actually am super hopeful for it. I asked in one of my canning groups yesterday if anybody has any good ideas for any chutneys or salsas or jams or anything like that. Something that doesn't necessarily have a pectin in it that would be good in bread, because this is what I do with my onion jam. It's a non-pectin onion jam, and it's fantastic. And now I'm doing it here with this, and I think it's gonna turn out good, because there's nothing about this that makes me think this wouldn't be good. It's a little bit more sticky than I usually have it, but I think we'll just go with it. It looks fantastic though. I wish I could taste it, but you can't taste the dough, that'd be gross. So if you have any suggestions on what types of things I can make and can that I could then use in my bread, let me know. All right, I think I'm gonna call that good. And now we just need to set it to the side, and we're waiting for our sauce. We're now ready. Our sauce has thickened just a little bit more, so here's about the consistency. Oops. I'm ready to start jarring these up. The sauce simmered for about 20 minutes more. I need to very much remember that every jar needs to have a 1/4 teaspoon of this citric acid. I cannot forget that, because that is how we make these safe. So I'm going to consciously do that here and then leave it open, so hopefully I don't forget it. You'll tell me though if I forget it, right? Anyways, thanks so much for being here with me. If you haven't yet, please give this video a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel, and I really enjoy making videos for you and with you. I am filling this jar to a 1/4 inch headspace, and we'll do that one too. I usually fill 2 jars at a time. And I'm so excited to have this on my shelf. You guys, these are the tomatoes from last year's garden. It's April and I'm just now doing them. I don't know how many jars I'm going to get. I'm hoping 5, something like that. Okay, that's not exactly a 1/4. I'm going to wipe the rims. This is a liquid, so I don't need to debubble it. Add a ring. So satisfying. It's been a minute since I've canned anything. Ooh, you guys ever have where you like twist it and it twinges through your hand? That just happened. In my canner, I have a few inches of water. I'm going to be pressure canning these, and then I also have a splash of vinegar. The water where I live is very hard, and so it definitely makes the jars be white on the outside if I don't put vinegar on them. So let's do that. I remembered the citric acid, so we're good there. That's not how to hold this. Our bread over there is doing well. It's just about finished. It's autolyzed. So as soon as I'm done getting these jars filled, I'm going to go stretch and fold the dough. This is definitely the last jar. There's just a teeny tiny little bit in there that isn't enough to do really anything with other than, I don't know. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. I'll find something to do with it. All right, get the last one in the canner here. I'm going to get the lid on the canner. And I need to figure out how long these need to process for. So I'm going to get them up to 15 pounds of pressure. I'm at mile high, so that's 5,280 feet. I am using the complete guide to home canning, the USDA version. That's how I knew how much citric acid to put in them, and that's how I'm going to know how much time. So I was a little confused looking at this. There's 3 different tables. Let me come closer to you. We can read it together. There's 3 different tables, and I'm thinking, it's kind of hard to tell. So I know I don't have, gosh, I have a weighted gauge. I have a dial gauge on there, but I don't want to be watching the dial the whole time. So I'm going to do weighted gauge. I'm going to go 15 pounds because that's the weight that I have, is a 15-pound weight. So what I'm seeing is it's 15 minutes. I think that's how you read this. It's interesting that there's like 3 sections here. It's pints or quarts. So normally I assume the top is pints and the bottom is quarts, but in this case, there's 3. So does this mean the bottom is quarts and that it's not recommended for my altitude to do quarts? And then if you do pints, you can either do it 20 minutes or 15 minutes depending on the pressure? Is that how you read this? I'm going to do 15 pounds of pressure for 15 minutes. That's how I think I should read this. Now let's do our first stretch and fold. I just got my hand wet. And I am just going to stretch and fold this dough. It's looking good. Oh, it smells so good. I have high hopes for this. When I did the onion jam, I didn't have hopes like at all. This smells fantastic though. I'm gonna be so bummed if it's disgusting. This is such a sticky dough. Okay. I'll stretch and fold that a few more times, but for now, it's gonna sit again. The canner's just about finished. It has about 1 minute left. I did let it vent for about 10 minutes before starting it, then let it come up to pressure and gave it 15 minutes. The kitchen's almost clean. This is just drying off. I got that completely cleaned. And then I did read online that I'm supposed to keep the potatoes for 2 weeks, but they aren't supposed to have exposure to direct sunlight. So I covered them with a towel because everywhere in my house has direct sunlight. So in about 45 seconds, I will turn off the canner and then I will let it come down from pressure all the way to 0 before I take the jars out. The pressure is fully released and I put the lid on kind of crooked just to let some of the steam vent out. I'm going to just set the lid down here. And yes, I wear these ridiculous gloves to do it because I've been burned by that steam and that is no fun. So let's take these out of the canner and I'm going to let them sit for about 24 hours before I touch them or do anything with them. I did 2 sets of stretch and folds. I'm trying to do this pretty quickly today. Let's see, what time is it? It's 3 o'clock, so this whole process started at 9 o'clock. I'm still seeing if I can get that in the oven today. So I am just putting rice flour on this banneton. And I'm going to tip some of the excess out onto here. My dough's a little stickier than normal, so I know I want to use a little bit of flour, and I'm using rice flour. It still smells so good. All right, let's see. I'm going to use this hand. See here. So after I get this dough rolled out and put into the banneton, I am going to let it sit for quite a few hours, 3, 4, 5. Once it doubles in size, I'll score it and then I will bake it. And once the dough finished baking, I will show you the final product. It needs to sit for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, so I might not even cut into it tonight. It might be tomorrow, but I will let you know how it tastes. And if you're interested in watching other sourdough videos or other canning videos, I will leave some right here for you. I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.